Good morning, Excellencies, Ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure to welcome all of you this morning to the Germany-Ghana Investors Forum, a landmark event to foster dialogue, to exchange business ideas, to discuss investment opportunities, and to build relationships with the objective of increasing awareness of investment opportunities in Ghana. To this end, we have an exciting agenda with 3 panels focusing on the industry sectors automotive, agribusiness, and financial technology, as well as an impressive number of distinguished speakers. Allow me to briefly introduce myself. My name is Carsten Völster. I'm IFC's country manager for Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, based in Frankfurt. It is my pleasure to guide you through today's program. It is a pleasure for IFC to host today's Germany-Ghana Investors Forum in Berlin and Accra. International Finance Corporation, as part of the World Bank Group, is the largest multilateral development finance institution investing and advising globally in supporting the private sector in emerging markets. Let me also note that this event would not be possible without the strong support of the governments of Germany, Ghana, and Norway. This is the first G20 Compact with Africa Investors Forum, where a conference is held on 2 continents and connected via video technology that enables an interactive dialogue between panelists participating from multiple cities. Today, it will be Accra, Berlin, and Johannesburg. It allows us to have discussions locally and jointly and to exchange views from German and Ghanaian perspectives to attract investors and to make more investments happen. It also saves us travel time and costs to establish an effective dialogue. As the Germany-Ghana Investors Forum is streamed on the web, I'm here with also welcoming all those who are following these discussions from their offices, the comfort of home or otherwise, and I hope they will benefit from this event as much as those attending the conference here in Berlin and Accra. Finally, the event will also be recorded and posted on the web so that the dialogue will carry on even after today's event. We expect this day to become a prototype for future similar events connecting other G20 countries with the current 11 compact countries who have the common aspiration to increase awareness and to attract private sector investments in their respective countries. I wish you all to have very interesting discussions and would now invite Her Excellency, the Ambassador for the Republic of Ghana in Germany, Mrs. Gina Ami-Blay, to take the stage. Thank you.
Felicitations. Good morning, Morgan, Accra in Berlin. I deem it a great pleasure and privilege to be invited to deliver the opening remarks to this auspicious event, which serves as a prelude to the impending G20 Africa Investment Summit, slated for 30th October 2018 in Berlin, to which the President of Ghana, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, has been invited and will attend. Before I proceed any further, please allow me to also commend the organizers of this forum for holding these 2 parallel high-level events simultaneously in Berlin and Accra and Joburg via a state-of-the-art video technology. This is indeed an innovative approach of organizing a dual-continent event with the overreaching aim of increasing awareness of the investment opportunities in Ghana in the fields of automotive, agriculture, and financial technology. Distinguished speakers, invited guests, permit me to iterate one of the submissions of the President of Ghana when he addressed the 73rd session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, during which he said, Ghana and increasingly more parts of Africa seek to chart our own paths to prosperity and pay our own way in the world. We have the necessary sense of enterprise, creativity, innovation, and hard work to engineer this transition. Hence our vision of a Ghana beyond aid, indeed of an Africa beyond aid. In that respect, I welcome you all to invest in Ghana in order to help the President achieve this vision for the country. We believe that sustainable private investment is the key towards job creation and economic prosperity for our people. To this end, the government of Ghana, under the visionary leadership of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is committed to implementing policies which will create the conducive business environment to ensure viable returns for all investments. Ladies and gentlemen, let me at this stage recall the recent visit to Ghana by Chancellor Merkel, which culminated into the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the German automaker Volkswagen and the government of Ghana to establish a vehicle assembly plant in Ghana. I'm confident this forum will serve as an important platform to encourage investment of such kind, which promotes knowledge and skills transfer to our enterprising youth to stem the tide of the movement of brains and brawn. We also welcome investment in the agriculture sector, considering the sector's enormous potential to be the engine of economic transformation and job creation. On this note, I wish you all a most stimulating and fruitful interaction. Thanks for inviting me, and thank you all again.
Warm welcome. And I would like now to introduce Ms. Judith Helfmann-Hundak, Head of Foreign Trade and Development Policy at the German African Business Association, who kindly agreed to step in on behalf of Dr. Liebing, who might join us a little bit later. Mrs. Helfmann-Hundak, please.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Fulster, for the kind introduction. Yes, actually, we do hope that Dr. Liebing will be coming in later. He is actually neither in Ghana nor in Berlin at the time being, but somewhere in between. So there you see the advantage of not traveling back and forth from and to Africa, but staying put in one place and trying to have the discussion here. The Afrika Verein, as a German African Business Association, represents around about 500 to 600 varying companies that do business in Africa and, of course, in Ghana. With Ghana, we have some special initiatives. We have partners on the ground, which we are very proud of. The Ghanaian-German Economic Association is there, of course, and a new partner is a private enterprise federation where we just signed an MOU. We know that other associations throughout Germany do have cooperations as well. So we see that Ghana is really of special interest to the German business community. And we're very happy that it's also, of course, one of the first partner countries of the Compact with Africa, where we believe that we have a new common ground for the cooperation between Germany and the African partner countries. And we greatly appreciate that the German government has started this new initiative within the G20 framework last year. Really, in the beginning, we thought that after the G20 year in Germany is over, we would have Africa back to ourselves again to do our work. But we're quite happy that we don't have it to ourselves again, but we do have the great support of the World Bank Group, the IFC, the IMF, and AFDB, of course, and the German partners on the ground. We have the colleagues from the DEG, from the KfW Group, and we do believe that it's a great step forward. Concerning credit risk insurance, some steps have been undertaken concerning the compact with Africa countries, of course also for Ghana, but that's also only the first step. Hermes itself, to improve the conditions here, is not all that the private sector needs, and I'm sure if I would sort of throw back the question to the audience here or in Accra, we would have all fingers up to say what the private sector needs on top to do more business in Ghana. But we have achieved a lot already. We have new projects, and I think it's especially interesting projects that we have. It's not just the Volkswagen project that has been mentioned, but we also have a vaccine and a pharmaceutical initiative by a couple of German companies to produce vaccine in Ghana. We have a lot of interest of two consortia for infrastructure projects concerning the railway. Transport and logistics is high up for Hapag-Lloyd, for Lufthansa and others, and of course the energy sector again and again, and also in cooperation with our friends and partners from Norway, and I'm very happy to see them again here after our first meetings around the energy conference in Hamburg in April. I think it's good to say we have the German initiatives, but we're not walking alone. We have Norway and many others at our side, also on the private sector level, and I'm looking forward to the cooperation that we're going to be setting up there. I think in the energy sector we also have very interesting new projects concerning also a memorandum of understanding that was signed during the delegation led by our Chancellor Angela Merkel to Ghana, where it was a solar hydro hybrid project, which is very interesting, I think, because it allows to mix the conventional energy and new renewable energies. And of course, then the showdown with Volkswagen that really showed that also the automotive industry is setting up new manufacturing, new assembly lines in Ghana and also in other countries now. But Ghana was definitely the starting point for the initiative of Volkswagen, and that leads me to one of the points where I think the most work needs to be done. That is the manufacturing, that is creating work, that is creating jobs, because that is going to be supporting the development of Ghana, of the countries, of the a correspondent Mittelstand that we're all hoping for and waiting for, and that we need to foster the partnership between Germany and Ghana. And I think in that part we also want some more support from the German government, but also from all supporters from the Compact with Africa, and that is all those that I praised in the beginning. We're not just praising you, we're also asking you for more support. We need more money, we need more finance, we need better conditions, and we need more trust. We need more trust in the private sector, we need more trust in the private sector cooperation. It's not just about we're talking about reforms on government level at the time being, but it's also about breaking it down at the end of the day and saying, we want you to go there and here's our support. And it's not just about Hermes, as I said in the beginning. We have to see what more we can do. We have scaling solar and all the other things that you have been talking about quite some times before. But at the end of the day, the private sector wants and needs the real-time support. Besides the reforms that need to be done. So I'm very much looking forward to the discussion to see what's happening in Accra and in Berlin today. Maybe we get some new answers. Maybe we just get more questions. I think we have enough time for that later on. I think it's also good to have you here for IFC being usually based in Accra. Even better to have you here in Berlin today to facilitate the discussion here. But even though the German private sector has been announcing around about 1 billion of new projects in Africa to come, it will not happen if the right support from the government, from the Ghanaian government, from the German government, and the international finance institutions will not be given. And I think we have to keep that in mind. Compact with Africa is a good start, it's a good common ground, but it's only the first step. And we have to make sure that everybody realizes that now the work will just start. We have the platform to start the work. And I think with that, I can already hand over or hand back to Carsten Fulster. And I'm very much looking forward to some answers on all those issues.
Thank you, Judith. That was a very comprehensive summary of the broad perspectives that exist already from a German angle, and you were also very clear about what is required in order to advance the investment stream beyond a conversation of concepts, but to realize implementation, and that indeed requires a number of different ingredients to make that happen. Thank you for that, and we may come back to some of the subjects possibly then later in a question and answer session. But now I would like to introduce Mr. Henri Kerali, Country Director for Ghana, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, Africa Region, World Bank. He's based in Accra since July 2015. His responsibilities are to oversee the financing, technical support, and implementation of innovative products and services that respond to the diverse development challenges and contribute to achieving sustainable economic growth and poverty reduction in these countries. Henry, the word is yours, or the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning, all. On behalf of the World Bank Group, I'm very pleased to be here at this forum, which brings together several stakeholders and indeed partners from across the range of sectors that we are going to be focusing on, including automotive, agriculture, and financial technology. We intend that this forum will be an opportunity to discuss and exchange ideas on how to increase private investment in Ghana in the context of the Compact with Africa. As most of you know by now, Compact with Africa is an important initiative from the German Chancellor herself during the G20, and it seeks to enhance private sector involvement, to prioritize commercial sources of financing to support the development objectives of Compact countries. This initiative could not be more timely for Ghana, as you heard from Her Excellency the Ambassador. It has the potential to provide substantial uplift to aid the country's takeoff into higher levels of growth and development with more and better jobs for all Ghanaians. I'd like to commend both the governments of Germany and government of Ghana for the initiatives they have already taken to strengthen the collaboration. I want to reiterate the actions taken by the government of Ghana to strengthen the economy, including through more prudent fiscal management, actions to strengthen the financial sector, and steps to improve the supply and quality of electricity services, amongst others. We recognize that more still needs to be done, as you heard from Juliet, and indeed, more will be done. This is an initiative that can only succeed if we all work together. We hope that the Compact will bring investments to Ghana. Such investments could substantially enhance the agenda of His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo on Ghana Beyond Aid, as you heard. The private sector plays a critical role, both as a financier and as a source of knowledge and expertise. The public sector has the important responsibility of developing legal and regulatory frameworks on key policy reforms and engaging private sector partners to achieve development goals, and also acting when the private sector solutions are not available. Ghana's government, like many others, seeks the support of private sector to enhance development goals, including transformation of sectors that are critical to economic growth. Many businesses offer valuable skills, resources, and access to markets. and many recognize that promoting sustainable development makes good business sense as well. This is very much in line with the World Bank Group's own twin goals to end poverty and boost shared prosperity. It is also in line with some of our actions to combine public financing with private financing under what we call maximizing finance for development. The maintenance of macroeconomic stability over the long term is indeed a key factor for most private sector investments. So too are structural reforms that are needed to enhance the business environment and to create markets. These are two areas that the government of Ghana has played a crucial role, and I would like to focus the rest of this presentation on some of the macroeconomic and business environment factors. As you will see in the chart, Ghana has had a pretty good record of economic growth over the past 2 years and beyond. GDP growth has averaged 7.3% over the past 10 years. Growth was 8.1% in 2017, driven mostly by oil and gas. It is projected that for 2018, growth will moderate to 6.5%, driven by industries, services, and agriculture. The manufacturing sector is yet to emerge. The rebasing of the economy, of the GDP, which was done in September for the years 2006 to 2013, has increased Ghana's total nominal GDP for 2017 to about 54 billion US dollars. This represents a 26% increase over the previous GDP estimate of about $43 billion. However, there has been increasing reliance on extractives, and the non-extractives have not yet risen to the level that is expected. Exports, mainly cocoa and gold, account for over 70%. Ghana is the #2 global cocoa producer and Africa's second gold producer. Oil was discovered in 2008 and production started in 2011. Oil reserves are amongst the top 10 in Africa. In terms of the structure of the economy, there has been a structural shift to services away from agriculture, but there has also been a relatively narrow base. In other words, other sectors could grow even faster. The services sector is about half of the entire GDP. Agriculture's share of the economy has been declining, and also the share of employment in agriculture has fallen from about 62% in 1991 to 42% in 2015. The value added per worker in services is twice that per worker in agriculture. In other words, there are people with skills to be employed. Ghana has experienced a rapid rate of urbanization, which means that the workforce is available if the skills can be provided. Growth has relied on private consumption, although investment remains slow. GDP growth is reliant at 84% on private consumption, but with only about 300,000 people entering the labor force per year for a population of 27 million. Capital formulation has generally not picked up as much, and the total investment in 2015 was below 20% of GDP, much lower than comparators in middle-income countries, whose benchmark is about 28%. The main issues are low savings ratios, shallow capital markets, and financial sector vulnerabilities. Many of you will be interested to see that inflation has been coming down quite significantly over the last few years. This is a key indicator of macroeconomic stability. The Bank of Ghana, the central bank, has a target inflation rate of 6 to 10%. The rate of consumer prices has also slowed compared to the overall price inflation index. The government has continued fiscal consolidation under the IMF program, but challenges remain. The financial sector has a few vulnerabilities, which included the resolution of a few insolvent banks, but also the microfinance sector still faces challenges. The fiscal deficit reduced from 9.3% of GDP in 2016 to 6% in 2017, and this is expected to come down further to about 4% in 2018. The government is targeting a lower deficit as a mark of prudent fiscal management. For the financial sector, non-performing loans, or NPLs, are high, and credit to the private sector is low. That is a challenge that we do recognize. In terms of monetary policy, there has been effective control of money supply, and this has contributed to curbing inflation. Monetary policy space is expansive, and the central bank has been progressively reducing its base rate to support growth. However, average lending rates remain above 25% for the last 2 years, which we believe needs further action. In terms In terms of the outlook for the future, we see quite a positive trend based on the macroeconomic stability that has improved Ghana's growth prospects. With falling inflation and improved energy provision, we expect the wider economy to benefit, including the attraction of more and heavier investments in industry. We see that growth forecast will remain at about 6.5% in the short to medium term and converging towards 5.5% in the long term. Ghana's growth, nevertheless, is likely to remain volatile unless actions are taken. Ghana's vulnerability lies primarily in shocks, external shocks from key commodity prices. There is also some concern, I have to say, with the debt sustainability and additional risks, mainly from high interest rates paid by medium-scale enterprises. Therefore, several structural measures are needed and will continue to be undertaken. I'd like to close by highlighting some of the actions that are being taken thanks to the help of the Compact with Africa. There will be continued action to simplify tax administration, to boost domestic revenue through voluntary compliance, to implement and maintain a public investment management framework that should crowd in private financing and ensure that there is value for money with all public and private funds. There is a draft PPP law, that approval of which will enable and facilitate regulations to help private investors come into Ghana. There is diversification of the power generation sources to include renewables, and we do acknowledge the help and support of the government of Germany with €100 million targeting the renewable energies sector. There will be further updates to Ghana's business, legal and regulatory framework through the introduction and update of the Companies Act, currently based on a 1962 Companies Act. These reforms will promote economic diversification and we hope will encourage further investment into Ghana. I would like to highlight agriculture and ICT among the sectors with the highest potential for job creation. These sectors will be showcased today under the FinTech, Agribusiness and Automotive sessions, and we hope that these discussions and feedback from you will help us work with the government to address the key challenges that still remain. In response to the questions, to the issue, if I may, Juliet, that you raised, what practical support can the government of Ghana or the World Bank Group give to businesses? I'd like to stress that we do have available a range of de-risking instruments that support FDI. We have guarantees from IFC, from IDA, which is the World Bank's low-cost financing to Ghana, and from the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, MIGA. These guarantees are meant to share the risk with you, and in some cases, to completely cover risks associated with political and other governance risks. In addition, we have under the IDA 18 a private sector window which is available to co-finance with you any investments of high significance and particularly job creation in Africa. Finally, we do have partial risk credit guarantee instruments that are available depending on the kind of businesses that you want to invest in. I'd like to conclude by looking forward to these deliberations at this forum and also to the sectoral engagements later on today. I want to reiterate the World Bank Group's commitment to supporting Ghana and to supporting all the Compact with Africa countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Henry, for setting so nicely the context of this event and providing the German audience with the insights of what is currently ongoing in Ghana and how far the reform process is already advanced and how encouraging the signals can be taken to making more development happening, to creating more jobs and thereby giving people more opportunities to come out of poverty and generating living circumstances that we all want to achieve. So if I'm listening to both of you and also looking at the demands that Judith was raising early on, I would like to turn first to the audience, and I know that we have a number of companies also present, in asking them, well, what is missing? Or, what are expectations that haven't been covered and addressed this morning? I'm opening up the floor for questions. Are there any? Please raise your hands and kindly introduce you briefly yourself, giving your name and your affiliation, and hope to see one or the other hand rising. If that is not the case, then it seems that the speakers have been so compelling about making their respective cases. So I'm maybe just turning it to you, Henri, first and asking, if we were to compare Ghana today from a doing business perspective with, say, European countries, where do you see Ghana ranking? And is there maybe also a misperception in the risk of doing business, and thereby also by the requirements in terms of financial instruments that are required in order to overcome that risk?
Well, Carsten, thank you. Quite an important question in the context of this forum. Many of you, I hope, are aware of the Doing Business report that the World Bank Group produces every year. Ghana's ranking has been moderate, to put it at best, over the past decade or so. But in the last year, the trend has started going up. There are challenges, but first let me highlight where Ghana performs very well. Ghana performs very well in terms of getting credit. Although the cost of credit is high, it's actually available. If you do see the recent bond issuances by the government, you will see that the government has been able to generate quite a lot of funds by issuing bonds at fairly attractive rates. The second area that Ghana has done fairly well, although there is still a way to go, is being able to start a business. It will not take you long. There is support from the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC. You will see on the tables some of the brochures that they have mentioned. So in terms of ranking, Ghana is actually first in West Africa, or among the highest in West Africa. You might say it's not good enough to be first or among the first on several key rankings in a region that is not performing well. That is true. If you compare Ghana or West Africa in general with the East African nations, then overall West Africa is below. But nevertheless, the political stability in Ghana puts it among the top investment destinations. The key challenges that we see are on issues such as customs or trading across borders, which remains a significant issue that the World Bank Group is working on to support the government and the neighboring countries in general to strengthen. There are also some challenges with resolving insolvency, although there is a new bill that the government has drafted on the insolvency. So, in a nutshell, a positive outlook, although there are still challenges that remain.
Thank you, Henry. I believe there might be a question in the audience, so please.
So I am reading a question from the online questions. This is coming from Sunmoshka Power in India. They're wondering if you can explain if there are, what there would be in the renewable energy sector, if there's anything that you could give them information on for Ghana, for someone investing from India.
There's another question. Here in the front, second row.
Good morning. My name is Jill Kami Maglo from the company Messenger Corporation. This question is for Henry and for Cash. It's good to hear that the government of Ghana is being attracting successfully treasury bills, as Henry just mentioned that. But some of the study of the World Bank came up to address the situation that the bank found themselves in this comfort zone, investing in government bond instead of financing the real economy. So what are the measures I've seen the World Bank, but also the government of Ghana could have put in place in order to regulate this area where commercial bank could invest in treasury bills, but not overlooking the SME sector who desperately need those financing? That would be my question.
Charles Yankan from African Cultural Institute. I think we are missing the issue on communication, because without communication system being well established, it might have more challenges in terms of this industrialization. And my question is, how is the Ghana government going to tackle the communication in collaboration with the World Bank and its associates? Because without this factor, it's going to have big challenges in the industrialization, even attracting many investors, and their compartment. And I'm sure that this will be a very important issue which has to be addressed as a starter for industrialization and attracting investors into the country.
We take one more, and then I think we start responding to a few of them, and then I come back to the audience in a second round, I suggest. Well, there's three more.
Hermine Grobinger, USA. I represent the company implementing hospital and healthcare projects. Henry, you mentioned that the government sort of should reduce its roles to the more regulatory tasks. However, social infrastructure, health and education are important aspects for the overall development. How do you see the role between public and private in the social sector?
Thank you.
Shall we take this one?
Yes, let's take these first, and then I know there are two more to come. Please.
Thank you, Carsten. I might forget the first ones if we go on too long. The question online question on renewables, I mentioned the 100 million euro that the government of Germany is granting to government of Ghana to support particularly investments in renewables. The key aspect as far as renewables are concerned is that the policy of the government of Ghana is to focus or to try to increase the share of generation from renewables. At present, renewables are less than 5% of the total generating capacity. And the government has committed to try to increase that to around 10% of the total generation capacity over the next 5 to 10 years. There are challenges in the energy sector. There are challenges particularly with the distribution system in terms of collection of bills and in terms, of course, of payments to independent power producers. Nevertheless, we are working, the government, together with the government and other development partners, USAID in particular, to reform the distribution system. There has recently been a signed agreement between Ghana's main distributor or electricity company of Ghana, ECG, and a private company from, I believe it's Philippines, that will have a concession to run the distribution system much more efficiently with key performance targets and so on. So we see first reforming the distribution system so that there are revenues to pay independent power producers, and then secondly supporting government maybe even through financial and other forms of subsidies to try to help the government achieve the target of increasing the renewables total generation capacity as a percentage from 5 to around 10%. The second question, quite important, about treasury bills crowding out financing from banks to private sector. Yes, indeed, that is a major concern. It's a major concern for all of us because as a commercial bank, you can buy treasury bills which come with a guarantee. And if the interest rates that are offered are high enough, then why would you bother lending to anybody else? Because that comes with much higher risks. So the policy of the government, the fiscal policy, is actually to help working with the central bank to reduce the T-bill rates. And that has been coming down. It's not something that will be achieved overnight, but it's a medium-term goal of the government and the central bank to drive interest rates down. If you see the policy rate by the central bank, it's now just under 15%. A few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, it was around 20, just over 20%. So I think over time that's going to come down, but it is indeed a major challenge. I'd also like to highlight the work of IFC in Ghana, which together with several other KfW development partners have been supporting access to low-cost financing through retailing through commercial banks in Ghana. So there is financing available. It continues to be a challenge, but we believe that in the next 2 years or 3 years maximum that this issue should be resolved. In terms of communications, Charles, you're absolutely right. Ghana actually has the GIPC, Ghana Investment Promotion Center, which is responsible, if you wish, for selling Ghana. On your tables, you should have a brochure and also a USB drive in a card that has been prepared by GIPC. There's a lot of information there about Ghana, about how to invest in Ghana, what are the processes, what are the procedures, and I would encourage you to open the USB drive. It's virus-free, I'm guaranteed, and have a look. And I hope that it will give you as much information about Ghana as you need. There is also the contact details for GIPC. If there is further information that you need, please contact them directly. On hospital and health care, very important in terms of PPP, what is the role of government in supporting public-private partnerships in the social sectors? The government has established a national health insurance system in Ghana. It's actually, I have to say, one of the best in Africa. By the way, I'm not Ghanaian. So although I'm promoting Ghana, it is my job to tell you the truth. So when I say that the national health insurance system in Ghana is among the best in Africa, it's an unbiased opinion. Nevertheless, there are challenges. The payments, the total payments from government to the national health insurance system is through dedicated or earmarked taxes, but the total amount is still less than what would be needed. And so what you do have quite a number of private sector firms investing in health and healthcare, in pharmacies and so on, paid partially for any services through the insurance scheme, but also out-of-pocket payments by recipients of the healthcare services. We are looking to restructure the National Health Insurance Fund through investments from the World Bank to try and boost that and put it back on a path of sustainability. So although you will hear of challenges at the moment, again, we do have a project financed by the World Bank, which we hope in the next few years will help. So I guess many of you will be hearing what I'm saying is, in the next few years, we're going to be doing this and that. Well, that is true. That is what the challenge of development is. If Ghana didn't have these challenges, I guess we wouldn't have the compact with Africa.
True. Very true. Well, thank you for those comments. Judith, may I just ask you on whether there's any aspect that you would like to emphasize from your introductory comments, also in response to the questions that we had received? Anything you would like to highlight?
Well, maybe the first thing is that I was hoping for some more of this, what we're going to do, what is going to happen, because you just came back to the point that, everybody's undertaking reforms, and maybe it's also worthwhile mentioning that some of the reforms are not always at the gusto of private sector. If we look at the rule of law, for example, sometimes it comes very surprising. New rules, new regulations, new taxation laws, etc., might be not as reliable as investors would like to have it. So we usually get the feedback that many people are working on an investment line of 5 years, because that is like the sort of time frame people look at, just making sure that they are not overrun by new laws. So sometimes it's also important to be very cautious. But then I think otherwise I'm very much with everything that has been said, answering the questions concerning challenges in Ghana. We do believe that strongly the power sector is one of the important issues. We need more power projects in Ghana, and we do think that German companies can maybe together with the Norwegian companies, can do a big deal here, supporting better prices for electricity, and then the infrastructure, I would say, is definitely what we need. Whether it's drinking water, more streets, more railways, but that is long-term stories, and so I'm happy to follow here with what Henry said.
Thank you, Judith. May I also welcome Dr. Liebing as the chairman of the African Business Association. I would like at least to give you a brief moment if you wish to add anything from your perspective that you would like to have raised in the general context. But if, please.
Yeah, good morning. And first of all, my apologies for coming late and for not being in entirely perfect shape this morning. I've just arrived from Luanda overnight and have run straight here. So I had a nice comparison between airport logistics and infrastructure in Africa and in Berlin. And I guess you can see where the problem was on which side of my travel this morning. So it's good to be here. Apologies for this. Now, it's difficult, of course, to add something to a discussion that I couldn't follow. But maybe let me just make one or two more general comments. I saw in the program someone has said I should speak about Africa today. And I was thinking that this might have enough room for maybe a 4-day seminar or so. So let me try to compress it in 2 minutes. I think as far as German activities on the African continent are concerned, we've had a decade between 2005 and 2015 where everything was doubling, the number of jobs created, the amount of investment on the continent, etc. And that was followed by a few years of stagnation. Now what we see now is that things take off again. We believe that there is about 1 billion euros of investment that's going to be committed by Germans for investment in Africa by the end of this year. That covers a wide range of sectors, including infrastructure and automotive, some of the things we are going to discuss later in the day. What I see is that the DAX 30 companies, they're all there. They can afford putting this on their balance sheet and finance it from their balance sheet. And everybody's aware of the Volkswagen things that have been successful in Kenya and Rwanda and is now moving to Ghana. We signed the MOU when Chancellor Merkel was there. So the big companies are all there. They understood what's happening in Africa. Mittelstand is slightly different. My feeling is that it's rather going down than up. And that has to do with the fact that Mittelstand is doing so well here. And if you don't know how to deliver on your order books, you might not spend a lot of time and resources to go to what is still considered to be exotic or risky new markets. And that is why we need to think about a new mechanism of risk sharing. We need reform on the African side because there's huge competition for German investment these days. We have delegations in town every day. You can see delegations going around Berlin from all over the world. And second, we need to look at our own homework, which is to think about new mechanisms of sharing risk between government and Mittelstand, so that those that are a bit more conservative but world market leaders in their specific segments can also afford going because they know they're covered in case something happens. So I think this is maybe the driver to the G20 Compact program. And I believe that is the most important aspect that it brings. It doesn't bring to the table a lot of additional money. What it brings is attention in Mittelstand and maybe more of a political understanding in Berlin here that there's a need to offer additional financing and guaranteeing instruments. I believe that within 4 weeks from now, when we have the big summit, Chancellor Merkel is going to host here, we might see some announcements on new instruments, and I believe that could give it a real push. So Africa today might be just the starting point of a huge increase. And I think our friend Hiller van Gertringen has issued a book a few years ago saying, or titled, Africa is going to be the next Asia. And I still believe he's right. And maybe this is now the starting point of the Asia, the China success story of German industry that we've witnessed over the past 10 years. So maybe just these general comments. And I'm, of course, happy to get involved in any discussions or questions now afterwards.
Thank you, Dr. Liebing, for this encouraging perspective, and also for sharing some clarity about the different segments of industry that ultimately is contributing in different ways to the development in Africa. And I think, yes, the small and medium enterprises will play a major role in Africa, as they do play here, but connecting the two will be one of the items that we will have to work on in order to get them to find their partners on both sides. And I would like to give Your Excellency still an opportunity to adding an aspect that you feel that you would like to stress or point out following the conversations that we had, as we are going to come to an end of our session. And we need to punctually start then the next event, which will be a jointly broadcasted between Accra and here.
Just a 1-minute addition to the question by Professor Yanka regarding communications from government levels or the authorities there, which is to add that aside the pocket information that's been provided, GIPC and Free Zones Board will soon come to Germany on a roadshow within the next 4 weeks to talk more about what they can do between Ghana and Germany. So just a small addition. We'll let you know more when it's ready.
Thank you so much, Her Excellency. I'm encouraging the audience who I know that there were still several questions that you would like to raise. Don't forget your questions and please ask them as I'm closing this panel for now, but there will be opportunities to talk to the speakers at a later point in time. And I would very much like to thank all of you for your contributions, for your perspectives of sharing a perspective of prosperity to some degree. It will take time, it will take efforts to make it happen, to implement it. And I would certainly like to also want to clap our hands for thanking our speakers for this really great discussion. Thank you so much. So with that, I'd like to get the signal on how we are going to then connect to the joint session. And